Welcome back. This is Module 6. I'm Marie Page, and in this module we are going to look at free promotion opportunities. So this will include quite a lot of non-digital as well as a few digital ideas for you. In many ways, the tips I'm giving here are the things that I did when I set my business up. And I went from absolutely zero to about 200 people on my mailing list or in my Facebook group or who I had interacted with in some way within a few weeks, and built into 5 classes a week with between maybe 8 and 12 people coming to each class. So these things work. Some may be for you, some may not be for you, but let's go through them all. So I would suggest that you start with your friends. You ask your friends to come to classes. You maybe give them some freebies. You learn your craft as a teacher if you're new to this with your friends and with your family. And actually quite a lot of my friends and family have continued to come to classes. Some of them pay and some of them I give either a discount to, or they get the classes free of charge. At the beginning, it's all about getting the numbers in, and many of them have actually recommended me to other people. And they've given me photo opportunities and all of that kind of thing. So there's a real benefit to have your friends there as well. And if you launch through your Facebook profile, well, it's your friends you're communicating with. I've talked about the fact that I did several weeks as for free classes. You may want to do that. I think it's quite common that a lot of people start with a free kind of taster lessons. You can see in my poster here, I actually hold some of my classes at a tennis club. So this is the poster that's on the wall of their notice boards and in the loos. And it says first lesson free for tennis club members. So they just used the coupon code TASTER to book a free class. Local Facebook groups are a great place to spread the word. Most local groups will have a no business promotions policy. So if you post about your business, your yoga classes in that group, you're likely to get the post taken down by the admins and potentially get yourself banned. So do check what the rules are. Some local groups may well let you do it. Some may have an exception for sporting or community things. I got around this for when I launched because for the first few weeks everything was free. So I asked permission of the administrator. I said, look, I'm running a load of free yoga classes locally. Would it be okay if I posted about them? And she said, oh, that sounds like a lovely idea. Yes, please do that. As soon as I started charging, I then had to post in the weekly business threads. So with my local group, every Monday, there's one thread where you can post as a business, and there's about 100 different posts in there. I'm not convinced I get a lot of trade out of that, but that is the one place that I can proactively post. The other thing I would do with local Facebook groups is I would keep an eye for when people say, can anyone recommend a local Pilates class or a local yoga class? And that's the point at which, because they've asked, you can go and say, yes, I teach a class. This is the style of teaching I have. Here's a link to my website so you can see. You're welcome to a free class. Would you like me to have a chat with you? So I've had quite a lot of inquiries from people that way, with me responding to their requests for information. And if you've got a few friendly students that are members of that group, you might well be able to nudge them into recommending you to that individual as well. And that has often happened with me as well, particularly when someone's saying, oh, I'm a beginner, I'm really worried about going to classes. And then one of my students will say, oh, Marie's really great with beginners, do check her out. Local mums social media. One of my students is in a lot of local mums groups because she's got preschool children. So she has posted all about my classes in their local WhatsApp groups and local Facebook groups. I've given some coupon codes for them as well. So that's not me posting, that's her posting on my behalf. Next door is a locally based social media kind of community. If you haven't heard of it, just Google Nextdoor and you will find it. So it's a bit like a sort of neighbourhood Facebook, really. They will let you post in there as a business. I got away with posting as an individual for a bit, and then the algorithm sussed that I was running a business and insisted that I create a business profile. Not a problem. I just created a business profile. You then have to get at least 3 recommendations or reviews before your post can go live. So again, I just asked some friendly students to do that for me. Posters, I put posters up everywhere. I put them up in the venues that I teach and also in local coffee shops, and my local co-op has a board for posters. So just get them up wherever you can. I'd suggest maybe going to a smaller than A4 size if space is quite tight. You may find that there are leaflet dispensers that you can put your little leaflets up in. You can print them out at home, or you can get them done at a local printer. Local publications, I'm going to give you some examples of those in a minute, so I won't talk about that anymore now. A banner at the venue is a great way of getting promotion. So this won't be the case with all venues, but there's a local yoga class to me at a local high school. They've got a lot of fences around the outside, and they allow the people that are renting their building for different classes to have a big banner outside. These are these sort of vinyl banners, and they are a great way of getting the word out. We've talked about Google My Business already in a previous module, so do that, and do get people to post reviews for you. You can do Google Ads, of course, we've talked about that already. You get an £80 credit when you open a new account there, so do use that. And one of the things that I've been doing is I'm working with a local business. In this case, it is Nissan. One of my students works for Nissan. We were chatting about how they used to have after work yoga classes, but they kind of fizzled out. And I was like, well, I could do a class for you. So I did a little deal, a little discount with them, talked to HR, and now I think I've got a class with them tonight. I think I've got something like 15 people coming to that. So really, really lovely opportunity if you can go in and teach at a local business. In fact, I first started doing yoga in a lunchtime class when I was working as a publicity officer for a housing association. So, and for the yoga teacher, it's so straightforward because you just deal really with the HR people. If they've got a room, that's great. If not, you perhaps need to go to a local hall, and you're just marketing. It's one person you're marketing to, either the HR director, and then they will do quite a lot of the internal promotion for you. One other idea I had, and this could be for Pilates, of course, as well as yoga, is local retirement communities. So you often have these kind of quite active retirement communities where people are living in a kind of retirement village together. So they may well have their own property there or their own rooms there, but they're still quite active people. They really like to have classes put on in their locale. So particularly if you're doing something like chair yoga or gentle Pilates, then go and approach those communities and see whether they would be interested in you going and teaching there. I mean, this is obviously great if you have a particular rapport with elderly people and that's the kind of class that you want to teach. But I think it's also a way when you're first starting out of going, do you know what, I just need to get some classes in. I just need to get some money coming in. I think this is an easier route in than going for the yummy mummy grades. Local publications, so you'll be familiar with these sort of local advertising-led magazines. So here's one that I have, it's called My News Mag, or My Local News. And they actually found me via a post I put in our local Facebook group. They do a monthly focus on a club. So they asked me if I'd like to be involved with that. So I wrote something for them, even though it says that Amelia wrote that. I actually wrote it, sent it off to her, and she published that. They also, in another month, asked me whether I would be prepared to do my favourites. So I had to just do a whole list of my favourite things there, and they used that. So that was very early in my journey as a yoga teacher, but it got me some really nice local publicity. Other local magazines may have diary kind of events that you can put your things into. Most of this is normally free of charge, so particularly if you're doing a workshop, you can pop that in, and you may want to think about advertising in those magazines as well. Obviously, you're going to have to be paying for that. What about posters? Well, you've seen a poster a little similar to this, so let's just pick up what I am doing with this. This was created in PowerPoint. Just note some of the things that I've done here. I've got some reviews in here. I've got pictures of people, hopefully like the people that are seeing this, so this is a stock image. I'm addressing their fears by talking about the class has been for normal, non-bendy people, friendly and with no weird stuff. You may well have a completely different take on the kind of class that you want to do. There's a free taster, so I put that up here and more information there. And there's a picture of me not looking too scary. So no, I am not in crow pose. I'm not doing a headstand. I'm not contorted or pretzel-like. It's just me looking, actually my hair's a mess. My nail varnish is chipped. I'm deliberately not looking too slick in that image because I don't want to come across as scary. I want to come across as just a normal person that they would like to have teach them. Collaboration is great. It gives you someone to bounce ideas off, and you can often then bring in their students, their friends, as well as your own. So here is Annette and I putting a yoga workshop on together, and you can see this is another poster that we've done. And we'll see how that all goes, but that's a nice collaborative thing that we can do. I think it's particularly good to do it with people that you share cover with as well, because it will introduce your students to them if you're not away too often, so they very rarely see your cover teacher. Here are some examples from local Facebook groups. So this is the typical sort of Monday morning business post that my local Facebook group does. So this is one of the administrators. She's offering the opportunity to post. So that's me talking about better balance, my week that I was doing that, and then my friend Wendy doing something similar with her Chi classes. And here's the example of someone who says, I'm looking for recommendations. So that's the kind of thing that I would do as a response. So I'm making sure that I have put a URL in there. So I'm getting the preview coming up nicely, making it really nice and friendly. And then look, this is one of my students, Kirsten. Marie Page is incredible with beginners. Cat heart, another thumbs up for Marie Page. I'm a beginner too, and she's terrific. So, you know, great to get those extra endorsements. Here's the example of the local social media groups that I was talking about. These are mums groups. So you've got Tuesday Toddlers here and Tuesday Toddlers Meetups, Mighty Mum Club. So I didn't post any of these. These were one of my students either doing it themselves. So this is Kirsten. I've recently been attending this yoga class, and honestly it's fabulous for beginners. And this one is an admin of the Mighty Mum Club who another one of my students recommended that she posted some information from me, and I think I offered them, yeah, they got the free taster as well. Here's that same Mighty Mum Club, but in a Facebook page, so you can see that they're putting one of my posters up. And the other thing I did, this is my local tennis club where I have my classes, some of my classes there, and I asked them whether they would send an email out to all of their members and put the information up on their website, which is what they did. So you can see all the information, all the links, and it just spread the word to their tennis club members, and some of them might have been interested in coming. Here is next door. So you can see I created an event in it for my beginners yoga workshop. I've also done a post all about the free classes. Eventbrite, you may well have come across this app. This is a good way of promoting local events a little bit more widely. So you just go to eventbrite.com, create your event, upload your image and put some information in about it. You can sell your tickets through Eventbrite. So if you haven't got a way of taking money other than kind of cash or people buying through your, by sending you money to the bank, then Eventbrite can be a good way of doing that. You could even use Eventbrite for weekly bookings. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it because their admin fees are quite high, but I think for workshops it works quite well. What about class cover? So chatting to someone that I've known that's been teaching yoga for years, she said, you know what, the way I started with my local classes is that I just did as much cover as I could at local yoga studios and leisure centres, and people found out about me through that, and I had leaflets for them and suggested, probably quite surreptitiously, that if people really liked my class they would come to a special workshop or something that I was doing. And I've found teachers that way myself, when they provided cover at a class, I much prefer them to the person that normally does this. I'm going to find out where they teach and go over to them. I talked about workplace classes. So here is the example of the class at Nissan that I am doing. So I created a little poster for them. And crucially, I got a quote from one of my students who works at Nissan. Everyone knows Jill. She did me a lovely recommendation. Loads and loads of people have come as a result of that. So that was it in terms of free classes. The only other thing I have done that I haven't particularly mentioned in this is I've taught at a local yoga festival called Yogific. You may well find that there are these in your local area, and you can generally teaching them free of charge, and have your sign-up sheet there, have your leaflets there, and you may well pick up students like that. So it's a day out of your weekends normally, but it's promotion. So any questions, please post in the comment thread below, and I'll see you back in module 7 where we look at tools to help you run your business.